My speech today will be on the question, is advertising detrimental to children? I went online first and Googled the question and obviously came up with a lot of results, most of them being negative in the direction that is implying advertising implies like a type of sort of brainwash, and there are a lot of detrimental effects depending on the maturity and the age level of the child. I found a very interesting article on NCBI, and it was extremely non-biased because it covered advertising from television to the internet to music videos, and then it broke down each section as to what the pros and cons were to advertising, and it wasn't very one-sided. It kind of supported both ends of the spectrum. I'll start out with television. A lot of what I read was there's good in television in the fact that you have, for example, Sesame Street, which promotes people being able to work together. It promotes storytelling, family, regular exercise, reading and learning. It also promoted how some public documentaries, or like if you were to watch the History Channel or National Geographic, it promoted like going to museum trips, or kids would want to go to the park and get out and learn things. But on the opposite end of the spectrum, there was a lot of negativity associated with television, anywhere from violence to nutrition problems to sexuality. There's a fact on there, or like a statistic that said the average child sees 12,000 violent acts on television annually, and those are anything from murders to rapes. And there were notes on the websites about how like nutrition, and a lot of the nutrition like advertising you see is for fatty, sugary foods, and they use a lot of cartoons to advocate kids into wanting to buy those things, and there's a lot of correlations made between obesity and increase in advertising. Alcohol, smoking, and sex have all been targeted topics when it comes to advertising, because people feel like reality television shows are promoting these things and it's having a direct correlated effect on our youth, and it was resulting in more diseases, more violence, more just depression. Like when you go into our music side of things, there are a lot of music videos, and there aren't as many regulations on those because it's music and it's an art form. So when kids get around and find ways to see these things, they're exposed to various drugs, violence, lifestyles that may or may not, be the best types of things for them to be learning about at their age. You have things like video games too, which the kids will see those online and they want to buy more things, or they ask more of their parents, and it increases your violence depending on the games you find. A lot of the games out there seem to be the shooting games, and people aren't very fond of that. And then you also have just the internet in general, which is a source which is essentially an advertising delivery service. The physicians that wrote this article on the NCBI website, I found they have like numerous sources where they get like practitioner studies and where they're getting their information from, and a lot of the recommendations are basically that there are programs in effect to help monitor advertising and they're trying to be reasonable. Like there has been change in the past few years in comparison to what advertising used to be. Companies like Disney, H&M, Lego are a few of the bigger ones that have made steps into making more respecting children's rights as youth. And one of the main recommendations I found for families is to explore the media like together, so that the child isn't exposing himself to his or herself to all these unknown things and then having to figure them out on their own. It's better to do so as a family, so you can implement your morals and help guide them, because it's, at the end of the day, it seems like it's hard to avoid advertising. There's always going to be loopholes in the system, and the best way to tackle it would be with your family.